And now we are moving into the last session of today, which is the updates from IAAP and EDF. And I'm looking at Alejandro and wondering, do we have Catherine in the room, or she is around? Yes, there she is. Good, perfect. Then this last session is going to be the update from the European Disability Forum and IAAP. And we have some changes in the program because Alejandro took the first session, and now Catherine Naughton, who is the director of the European Disability Forum, is going to do the policy update. So that's very nice. You kind of swapped according to, it's just the opposite of what you did last year. So I think that was a good swap, even if it was for other reasons. We will hear about the key policy activities, that what you're focusing on from the end user perspective, or at least I think that is what Catherine is going to talk about, because we haven't met until now. And after that, we will have a short update from IAAP, and this will not be our Managing Director, Christopher Lee, talking. It will be Monica Duhem from Mexico. She's the director of the G3ICT Global Advisory Center, and that is because Christopher had to rebook a flight, so he's now in the air somewhere from Dubai to the US. And then we will have a short panel with IAAP members and certified professionals. Catherine, good to see you. Welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the invitation to our event and to everyone for attending. I'm sorry I come so late in the day, but it's a busy day in Brussels. So as Susanna said, my name is Catherine and I'm working through the European Disability Forum. And right now is, because it's a busy day, it's a busy time. You will all have gone out in June and voted for members of the European Parliament. Those of you who are entitled to vote, I'm sure all of you voted. And the result is now a new Parliament. We've had last week announced all of the new commissioners, which has a very big impact on what's possible and what's likely at the EU level in the coming 5 years. So right now in EDF, we work very, firstly, we have to re-establish relationships with members of the European Parliament. Many strong allies have come back to the Parliament. There are many new allies, but the Parliament is also has a different configuration. For those of you who follow closely, you will have seen that the centre right do quite well and the far right do extremely well as well. And what we need to do at this point is we look at who are the members of the most important committees. So thinking about the topic of web accessibility, we have, of course, the Internal Market Committee of the Parliament. So we have, if you look at our website, you will see that we have made sort of toolkits for all of the committees. So any committee that, well, most of the committees, how many toolkits, Alejandro? 17. I thought I was going to say 17 and it would just be wildly too big. So 17. So the team have actually looked at all of the different possible activities and useful activities for members of those committees. And we meet with the new members and we try to engage them on the topic of the rights of people with disabilities. And so they're the formal committees of the Parliament. And then there's also the Disability Intergroup, which is a cross-parliamentary committee that we have to campaign every year to get re-established. So we're on that. Then last week, the President of the European Commission, she announced the new, her proposal for the new Commission. This is her entitlement. She's allowed to propose all of the portfolios and the people. She, of course, has to deal with the member states and negotiate with them. And so we have seen there is a newer emphasis, as you would all know from your national context as well, on defence and on competitiveness, and less on the kind of issues that EDF would generally be working on, human rights and social policy, employment, etc. It's expected that there will be less new legislation. So what we're doing today, looking at the proper implementation of existing legislation, is going to continue to be extremely important to make sure that the gains that have been made in previous year are really make a difference. But of course, it's all new and the new commission is not in place yet. They've been proposed. We had been very happy the last time around that there was a commissioner for equality, a standalone one commissioner working on this topic, and that's not the case now. And so that's something that was very disappointing for us. The Commission did add, equality was added onto a portfolio for humanitarian action, which we found surprising and we don't understand. So this is also something that will mean that there won't be a full-time leader in the Commission working on equality, but rather with divided attention. But this will be a priority for us in the coming months. We expect maybe the new Commission to be in place. It could be if it's very quick, the beginning of December or the beginning of January. And if I was to say one thing that is the most important for us then to happen early next year in terms of the political agenda for disability would be a new phase with very specific actions for the next European Disability Rights Strategy. So we have one for 10 years. For the last 5 years, there was a very clear plan. And so we need a very clear plan for the next 5 years. So if there's any advocacy you're working on, it's to get things into this, hopefully to be published phase of the disability strategy. And things that we asked for and have for many years that are very relevant to everyone here today would be the EU Agency for Accessibility, which we would like to see as soon as is possible. We hope sometime in the future, but this would be something that would really, you see the challenges to support implementation of the legislation, something that would help with that. So these are the broad lines. There's a lot more detail, but I think you're not so much interested in the detail. No, I think, do you want me to say a few more about some initiatives that are, how much time do I have? Do I have till 4:21 or till 8 o'clock?
21. Yes, you have, I think you have 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you then a few more ideas of what things we would like to see. Legislation on affordable assistive technology. This is an internal market issue. It's possible that we think that the European Union could do it. We would like to see also where public services are digitalized, that there are also alternatives to digital formats. We're a big fan of accessible digital technology, but many people still need to have other versions. Of course, we'll work on the harmonized standards for the European Accessibility Act, which is something that we have as a common project. The European Standardization Regulation, there was an evaluation. We give our views on how that is easy or not easy for organizations and persons with disabilities to be involved in. There's very many barriers. So we'll be hoping that there will be a revision of the Standardization Regulation. There will be a revision of Public Procurement Directive. Hopefully it will be possible to actually strengthen the accessibility components. And then the bigger thing, which is from 2028 to 2034, there will be a new EU budget. And that's where it's possible for us to advocate across a whole range of fields for accessibility requirements. So for example, in the field of culture or research, any of the budgetary areas are places where now, because of the Accessibility Act, it's very, well, it should be fairly easy to add accessibility requirements following the functional requirements of the Accessibility Act.
That sounds fantastic. So good luck with all of that. You have things to do, I know, but you're also a very, very good team around you. So that's amazing. So yeah, thank you very much for giving this brief and very comprehensive update on everything, and exciting times ahead of us, even if we just left a period with many exciting times, but still a lot to do. So thank you very much, Catherine. Thank you. And now I would like to have the members and certified professionals from IAAP up on stage. I have a very warm chair for somebody because we are now going to hear from Monica Duhem. I don't know where to stand it to. Hi, do you see me? So good to see you, and thank you for being here with us and kind of standing in for Christopher. You can sit wherever you like, and you are going to give us kind of the highlights of the strategy of the next upcoming, I don't know how many years, but some the most important things. You and I didn't really talk about this, so I don't really know what you are going to present, but I'm sure it's extremely important and interesting. So, and then you have your panelists here behind me, and I will just disappear from your view. So that's all fine. Monica, please.
Thank you, Susanna. It's a real pleasure to be here with you. I'm, of course, representing Christopher, our managing director, and I would love to share with you some updates on these 10 years of the International Association of Accessibility Professional, what has happened so far, and as Susanna said, what we have planned for next year. And I will start with membership. As you know, membership's been growing. Now in Europe, we have close to 700 organizational members from 11 countries. And organizational members are crucial for the implementation. We were talking, and the whole day we've been talking about the struggles and the importance to work together towards the implementation of the European Accessibility Act to make sure that the conditions are set for both governments as civil society and of course companies to be able to understand and comply with the accessibility requirements. So it's a good news that we have close to 700 organizational members from different countries, and this creating a network, a strong community of practice and network that is crucial for share good practices and really fostering discussions around the responsibility of the private sector in implementing accessibility. We don't only have industry representative and organization. More and more, we've been seeing a growth of higher education or universities that are becoming a member and creating their own community of practice. And I think it's a good news. It's a good news that it's growing. Just after the US and Canada, Europe is the biggest region with IAAP organizational members. So we will continue to grow. Of course, we've seen countries in Europe where we do have a chapter are the ones that are growing faster. So we will be exploring the possibility of opening new partners in different countries, because those allies are crucial for the implementation, for the creation of community, and for what I'm going to discuss next is the translation of the materials. In terms of certification, of course, we have seen a growth in professional certification. Today, up to June, we have more than 700 professionals certified from 27 different European countries. So certification is growing, which is great because in a sense, we need to validate the profession and we need to certify that those professionals do have the skills and the ability to continue their path and to provide the services that are needed for the implementation of the European Accessibility Act. In terms of the certifications, also, I would like to share with you that the Book of Knowledge for the WAS, the Web Accessibility Specialist Certification, has been renewed. It includes WCAG 2.2, that is also part of the European Accessibility Act and will be published in October. So this means that in the next certification session from November to December, we will have the English certification of the WAS will be including WCAG 2.2, which is this new renewed Book of Knowledge. I think this is very good news. Just let me stress that the WAS certification validates skills, validate experience, professional, and it's not a knowledge-based certification. So when professionals are going to apply for the Web Accessibility Specialist certification, they do have to demonstrate at least 3 to 5 technical years of experience in accessibility work. So it's a very technical certification. Good news as well, the WAS translation in Spanish was successful. We piloted this year. The pilot was completed and successful. So for the November-December exam session, we will have, or you will have available the WAS certification in Spanish, which is a good news for Spain. So they will be able to get certified and have the exam in their mother tongue. For next year, what's coming for the certification, we will be working on the WAS body of knowledge in German and Spanish, and it will be available in spring. So that's very good news because we do understand that we need content in local languages. So we work with our allies, with our chapters, very, very hard in providing those vetted and curated translations, so you are able to have the book of knowledge in local language. So for spring 2025, we will have the WAS body of knowledge in German, both, and Spanish. And also in our pipeline for 2025, we will have the CPAC certification available in German and Spanish. So it's good. We would love to, and we are looking for partners to translate it in Italian, to translate it in French, and really, if you do come together and are interested in working with us, revising the content and working on those translations, we will be more than happy to collaborate, because we do believe that it's needed. As Susana said, I am Mexican, and I've seen the difference of being certified in mother tongue. So it's important that we work together in that sense. And that's it for the updates around IAAP. I had 5 minutes, so I'm right on time.
That's perfect, Monica. Thank you. So we are now going into the panel part of this before we leave the room for questions. And we have in the panel here, we have Nadia Törnroos, I guess is the pronunciation, who is an accessibility specialist and lead software engineer and CPWA certified for Tieto Evry, which is a Finnish company. And they are also an organizational member. And I think she's based in Finland as well. And then we have Tsvetkova, who is a senior advisor in digital accessibility and inclusion design, also a CPWA certified professional at the Norwegian Labor and Welfare Administration. Oh my God, this is so long. So public sector here in Norway, based in Norway, and also part of the advisory council of the Nordic chapter. So thank you for being here. And then we have another name I'm not sure I'm pronouncing right, but Moïse Akbaraly is a co-founder at Ipedis, which is a French accessibility expert company who are also organizational IAAP members. So this is the panel. And now, Monica, I leave it to you to ask them all the clever questions.
Thank you, Susanna, and it's a pleasure meeting you. I'm always excited to meet certified professionals and sharing with us what the certification has done for you. So I would like to ask Ina and Nadia, what has the IAAP certification meant to you? Why did you become certified? And what is the added value from your perspective that differentiate you as a professional with a certification and without a certification? If you want, Ina, you can start.
Okay. I took CPAC like 6 years ago. In 2018, I was actually between the jobs, and I was decided to change also my professional career and to work more with accessibility than web development. And so I decided to take CPAC as a proof and to show, okay, this is something I care and I want to work with. And 6 years later, actually this year, I took the WAS exam, which is like more technical, more professional. And I think the certification is a good way to prove your knowledge, especially for people who don't know so much about accessibility. And if you work with a lot of companies, it's also a good sign to say, okay, I care about this area, I care about the users, and I care not just to deliver a product, I care about the quality of this product. So this is
Thank you very much, Ina. And Nadia?
Yes, my journey started in accessibility 10 years ago during my master degrees. And since then, I actually dreamt about like being accessibility expert. But I moved to Finland eventually, and my journey was time to time interrupted. So at some point, I saw that maybe my knowledge in industry is falling apart. So I decided like, okay, maybe I should do it through certifications. So I took first the core competences exam, and per se, it wasn't like I wasn't up to like getting certificate, but it was the way of gaining my knowledge back. And then I went to technical because I'm a software developer, so I decided to take the next certification, Web Accessibility Specialist. So as a designation, I become certified professional in web accessibility. And that happened 3 years ago almost. And I think it's the same time when I started to feel very empowered. And I think it gave me voice and some self-confidence to move forward. So I think like now it helps me to open extra doors, help me networking, help better advocate for accessibility. And yes, I'm honored to be here currently as a certified accessibility professional. So it's a long-term aspiration for me.
Thank you, Nadia. And yes, now you are our representative and part of the champions of this community, because it's so, I started accessibility 20 years ago, and I thought I would have a short career because everybody will knew about accessibility. And here we are 20 years later, still founding people that do not know about accessibility. So you are very, very important. And Moïse, you're not only a member, you do have certification, but you are also a membership, and you do own this membership of community. So could tell us a little bit what the IAAP membership has meant to you, to your organization, and why did you become a member in the first place?
So, well, I started Ipedis 18 years ago, and 18 years ago, it's a very long time ago. And that time I really compared my job like a craftsman, and so I've been doing things for years. And after the pandemic, I realized that, well, the accessibility market started to grow, and that we needed to get more professionalization of our industry. So to that point, I started to investigate about certification and well, come across to IAAP, because we needed to our consultant to be recognized for the expertise for a very specific reason. When you have a growing market, you have a lot of newcomers in the industry, and you have to at least a client who going to work with you, they need to be reassured that, okay, those people are certificate and are well skilled for making an audit or for making a training. So this is how we matured in terms of enrollment to IAAP. The second reason is we've been addressing either private companies operating globally, and IAAP is a great place and a great room for sharing best practices. We found very good resources within the organization, and well, the different talk and those events are a very good momentum for industry. So in a nutshell, two reasons. We wanted to enroll our staff into a certification program so that they can be we can value the expertise, and we can value the expertise of a company on the market at global level. And the second thing, it's a very fruitful cooperation with the organization, where we can share our resources and we can benefit from the other peers within the IAAP.
Thank you very much. And I totally agree with you. I think that we've seen a growth in interest in accessibility in the past years that grew exponentially from the beginning of our, as someone in the chat room said, he started as diversion, but it's not a diversion anymore. It's like a full-time job. So yes, we've seen a growth in interest, and all the eyes are set in Europe to see what happens next year. And talking about next year, I would like to ask the three of us, what would you like the IAAP to focus in the near future? Now that you've been a member, you've been certified, what are those areas that you think will be interesting for us as an organization to focus in the near future? Ina, we still have some minutes for this closing recommendation for us. I would love to hear.
In some way, I would like to have something between, like exam between the CPAC and the WAS, because CPAC is more like introduction for the accessibility, and the WAS is really technical exam. So I think it will be nice to have something for on the intermediate level for to close this gap between the professionals and to give opportunities, for example, for to people to learn more about the testing, or because now we have these legal requirements that are about that we need, for example, to do more testing. And it's just an idea, but I think it will be good to focus on the intermediate level of knowledge. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Super interesting bucket list. So maybe not certificates, but some kind of badges and modules that we can include with certificates, not certification, that will validate knowledge. Love the idea. Please, Nadia.
Yes, I think actually I agree with you, but I would go maybe to the scope, even to the more basic level in accessibility, and maybe not as a certified, but as you said, like on the badges level, because like what we are discussing, that everybody should have a basic knowledge of accessibility to spread awareness, to start to efficiently work and shift left. So I think, and that would be, at the same time, would help companies to being more credible, like in front of other customers. So I think I would probably prefer that, because I think core competences and of course WAS is are very challenging certifications. Like it requires a lot of preparation time, a lot of studying, a lot of you know, inspiration to do it, motivation, and like going through exams. So I definitely think like some more accessible course would be very good. And another thing, I do like how IAAP progressing. So now we have core competences preparation course through membership. I think it's a great thing, because when I was certified, I was doing it through third-party suppliers. But I would like that also technical certification would also have some preparation course. Really looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Nadia. And Moïse?
Well, with the upcoming European Accessibility Act next summer, I think at European chapter, I think one of the good thing would be having a mapping of how we would impact every single European countries in terms of accessibility, because it's still very blurry for us as consultant to provide consistent and relevant advices to our client and customers, because you have different rules for different countries. So that would be a good, I think, yeah, good timing for next year.
So we send work for us and work for our chapters, which I love. And right on time, I will have Susanna to lead 10 more minutes for questions.
Thank you, Monica. Always right on time. It's always lovely working to you guys. Try to stay somewhere. It's we have more people on stage than we have had earlier in the day, so this is a bit crowded, which is super nice to have you here, by the way. So thank you very much for your intervention. No, I'm standing. I have been sitting the whole day. So we have two questions online, but I would like to ask also if we have any questions. Yes, we have a question here. Oui, please.
Hello, thank you for this panel. I want to do two simple questions. One is, if you have some skills, technical skills, and you know the world of disability, how long it takes to be prepared for certification? And second question is, if we will be member of the organization, if you have a career path to help to know the right points to study, to get certification at the end. Okay.
So I don't know if you want to respond to that, Monica, or if you want me to respond.
I mean, just to let you know that yes, the only certification that required experience and proven experience is the web accessibility specialist. The CPAC, which is the core competencies, as Nadia said, you need to study a bit, but it's really based on knowledge. So the difference really is that for the WAS, you need to prove that you've been working hands-on on accessibility for at least 3 years. And I don't know, Susanna, if you want to complete the part of the answer.
Yeah, I think it's very individual how long it takes to prepare for the certification. But as the way I know you, you have been working in the field for a long time, so I think you probably have the skills. So it's more of reading up on the theoretical part, I would think. So I don't think you are very far from the exam, but it's individual how fast you study. I mean, it's a difficult thing. I don't know if Ina or Nadia want to say something about how long. Do we have an average length? I mean, it's kind of hard.
For me, because I took a WAS this year, and I just all the time I just felt that there is more, that there is more that I can read and learn. So that's why for me it took a little bit more time, because it's you don't have curriculum. It's actually based on your experience and knowledge. So it's yeah, it depends for your personal feelings in some way. So
If
yeah.
you're okay with failing or not.
Yeah, so it's but it's really like it's technical exams, and you must be prepared for this. So it's
And the second part of your question, Rui, you don't have to be a member to become certified. That's two different things. But if you are a member, you get a discount and some of the training that Nadia was talking about. So it could make sense to become a member if you would like to be certified. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can I add something? Because I really liked it about the IAAP certifications, because within 3 years as you're certified, you have two options: either retake the exam, or you can actually collect the credits within these 3 years, and like in knowledge sharing and participation in different learning activities. So you kind of keep yourself up to date constantly as accessibility expert. And I think this is very organic way to support your certification rather than retaking it. So it's not easy to submit those credits. I feel it's challenging, but it's still, I think, very, very good way to support your knowledge.
It's important to keep the knowledge updated, and I know that we are. I don't know when. Do we have a date for when it's launched? The new system for adding cakes. Monica, do you have the date for that? I know that's happening soon, but I don't know when.
No, I know that. I mean, I know that about the publication of the Book of Knowledge this year, but the new system hopefully will be soon. They're checking the last accessibility issues to make sure that we're launching a platform that is 100% accessible. I don't have an exact date, but I will share the date through our lovely chapters as soon as I have the information.
We have them. Yes, of course. Yeah. So we have a question from online. What's the plan for new or additional certification programs in the near future? Do we have anything we can share?
So yes, interesting, and a little bit aligned with the comments and what Ina just said. We are working with our chapter to create intermediate certificates, which is not a certification, and we need to make sure that we differentiate in order to create a professional certification takes a lot of works, because we need a certified committee, we need volunteers to revise the knowledge, and it really takes a long time to create a certification. But we hear you, and we've understand and felt your pain between certifications, and we are working with our chapters, trusted chapters, to develop some modules and specific ad hoc trainings that will end with a small exam, that will end with a certificate that will validate the knowledge, but more focus on profiles and focus on specific areas, and also regionalized, focus on what the regions are interested in. And Moïse just said about the importance of talking and guiding Europeans on what's next, and maybe on testing. You said it as well, Ina. So for the European region, there's some specific needs that are not necessarily the needs that new region on accessibility, which could be the MENA region, for example. So it's interesting, and we're working on that. Hopefully, we will see these first certificates rising in early 2025.
Yeah, and it's kind of more professional education. So start your journey, move in this direction, and then you get kind of a little, we nudge you to go on instead of a big exam. So it's another concept, but it's more like continuous learning more than kind of professional certification. So that's the idea. And we have a question there. Do we have a microphone? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm this time I have a question.
Yes.
Like,
Can you
Paul
please
from
state
the
your
app.
name? Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Paul from the apps. I know that like maybe a nice idea for the bucket list, but maybe there's also certification possible for apps as well, because like it's very technical. WAS is very technical, I understand, but there's nothing for apps at this moment. So maybe that's interesting.
Yes, totally interesting. Super challenging, super interesting. Yes, I will bring that to the managing department. But yes, I agree with you. It's a needed skill that needs to be developed and certified. I don't know yet if they're working on it, but I totally agree that it's important and needs to be considered very seriously.
What may be an issue is that there are not enough experts, because in the system that IAAP is working on the international accreditation certification, whatever the organization that kind of make sure that the certifications we provide are globally recognized, you need a certain number of volunteers, you need a certain number of people who test, and so on and so forth. And there's really very few accessibility experts in the app communities. I mean, that may be a hindering factor, but I agree with you. It's one of the, it is growing, of course, it's growing. And I know that we have had this one up in the certification committee before. So it's not a new idea, but I'm not sure how close we are in making it happen. So we have one question here. In Paris, you mentioned the possibility, this is for me, you mentioned the possibility of creating a French chapter. Is that happening? Well, yes, I hope it's happening. We are on our way. Moïse is nudging me every time we meet that what is happening with France. And we have more than 60 individuals said, yes, we would like to establish a French chapter and work on it. And we are just now on the verge of finding the right date for having the first meetings to meet with all these people and start the process of, it's kind of an exploration process when we start a new chapter. So that it is happening. Yes, it hasn't happened yet, and it's all on me. But we will go back to France and make sure we create a chapter.
Yeah, so we'll be soon with your help and the others. But yeah, the aim is also to leverage on the experience of the other chapters within Europe, so that we can be efficient and roll out. Yes, and it may be a French-speaking chapter, so France, Luxembourg, and French-speaking parts of Belgium. So let's see about that. Okay, so we are very fast approaching the end. Did you have any extremely clever last words, Monica, that you want to share with the world?
No, just to thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you. Good luck. I'll be looking at what's happening in Europe with a lot of interest, and being ready to hopefully support you in the best way we can. And hopefully I'll see a French chapter next year. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the panels, and thank you for all the questions. So we are moving towards the end, and we still have people in the room and we still have people online, and at least some of you are still awake. That's impressive. So before I let you go, I would just like to recommend you to look into some upcoming events. From the German-speaking chapter, DACH chapter, we have on the 26th of September, so later this week, on accessible PDFs, a webinar, a free event. On the 1st of October, IAAP EU has the traditional drop-in session. So anyone that's interested in asking more questions about membership or certification, it's just an open 1 hour where we have a panel like similar to this one, with members and certified professionals who will respond to all your questions. So you don't need to come to me and ask, and I say, oh, everything is fantastic, but you can actually ask the people who are members and certified and get the truth from them. And you are welcome to ask anything. Sometimes people take that a little bit too serious and ask about other things. We would like it to have something to do with accessibility. That's kind of the idea. Then on the 15th to 17th of October, G3ICT and IAAP have the big event in Washington, DC, the M-Enabling. And this year we have, I believe, 22 sessions possible to attend online. There is a cost to that, but of course a discount for IAAP members. If you would like to go to the US, you're more than welcome. I believe you can still register. But if you are still in Europe, there's a lot of things. And among other things, the first half day, the introduction policy part of M-Enabling is online streamed. And then the whole IAAP day, the third day, is also online, and there will be, of course, Accessibility Act things going on, and also some accessibility chats that are also live streamed. So that's really interesting if you're interested in policies. And then on the 22nd of October, IAAP Nordic, so the Nordic chapter, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, Denmark. Denmark is providing a webinar on what's new in Y area. So that is just some of the highlights of what is happening in the next month. And I hope you are coming with us to that. And with this, I just want to thank everyone, the technology team here and in the US, and all my US colleagues who have been up very, very early, our speakers here and online, the interpreters, the people running with microphones, and everyone else in the background and foreground, and of course everyone who participated in the workshop yesterday, and everyone else I may have forgotten. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you next year, if not sooner, because IAAP EU is also doing always a spring event, and there we are touring Europe, so maybe we're coming to a city near you. Stay tuned, and I will let you know more next time we meet. Thank you.